Hello, my name's Bianca, mother of two children and an ardent social worker. I currently live with my mother in Ohio. I run a small organization that provides to terminally ill children, whether it's taking them to an amusement park or a museum. I try to make their days a little less scary. My mother takes care of my children. They're going to a new school. I know these new adjustments bring a lot of new changes, but we are managing quite well. My life wasn't entirely like this. I was terribly heartbroken, and the healing took its time. It took me years to come out of the fact that I was betrayed multiple times by the same person. I met my ex-husband, Victor, when I was on a girls' trip to Rome, Italy. We were clubbing late at night when this random man approached me. Bella Serrata, isn't it? See, it's a beautiful night. Do you come here often? No, actually, it's my first time in Italy. I wanted to experience the nightlife, and I must say, it doesn't disappoint. Well, you've chosen the right place. Roma is known for its vibrant energy. So what brings you here, business or pleasure? Well, I would say a mix of curiosity and wanderlust, I suppose. I've always been fascinated by Italian culture and history. And what about you, Bianca? Are you a regular in this scene? I enjoy going out occasionally. It's a great way to unwind after a long day. But tonight, I'm celebrating a friend's birthday. How about you? Are you here alone? Yes, solo traveler exploring the world. I find it liberating to discover new places on my own terms. Well, you seem to be doing just fine. Rome has a way of capturing hearts, whether you're alone or with company. So it seems. But I have to admit, meeting someone as lovely as you adds an extra touch of magic to the experience. You're quite the charmer, Victor. I appreciate the compliment. So tell me, what else have you discovered during your time in Rome? Oh, where do I start? The Colosseum, Vatican City, the Sistine Chapel. I've been soaking in history, the art, and the cuisine. Every corner of this city has a story to tell. You're absolutely right. It's a city filled with treasures and tales. If you have time, I'd be more than happy to show you some hidden gems that tourists often miss. I'd be honored, Bianca. Exploring Rome with a local would be a dream come true. We clink glasses together, sealing our new connection amidst the vibrant ambience of the club. He then proposed a friendly dance. The music was wild and I was young and flattered, so I agreed to his proposal. We danced away like crazy as if we didn't care less about the world. We were a couple of drinks down. He was really attractive back then, and attractive people can bring a lot of baggage. As the vibrant music filled the air and the club in Italy pulsed with energy and life, it was a night like any other, and I found myself dancing and enjoying the moment, surrounded by the rhythm and excitement that coursed through the crowd. Little did I know that this evening would be the beginning of a captivating and unexpected journey. It was as if the world around us faded into the background, leaving only the two of us in that electrifying moment. We moved together in perfect harmony, our bodies swaying to the rhythm of the music. The chemistry between us was palpable, growing with each twirl and dip on the dance floor. It felt as though time stood still, and in that enchanted bubble, we were the only ones that mattered. But just as our connection intensified, a woman appeared out of nowhere, clinging to Victor. Panic flashed across his face, and he glanced at me with a mix of confusion and worry. In that split second, I saw the uncertainty in his eyes and my heart skipped a beat. Who is she? Who are you? Oh, please, ladies, relax. Let me introduce you to. This is my friend, Bianca. Bianca, meet Louise. She's my tour guide. She's been taking care of me. Thank you, Victor. That was really kind of you. But baby, we must head back. You know we have to get up early morning. Baby? Victor, just give us a moment, Bianca. We have to talk about tomorrow's schedule. I still have a few days left to be here, so I planned an elaborate tour guide just for myself. I'll come back to you. Stay still. Don't you dare go anywhere. He held me by the waist and planted a kiss on my cheek. As I watched their interaction unfold, I felt a wave of emotions crash over me. Doubt and insecurity threatened to overshadow the joy and attraction I had felt just moments ago. Who was this woman? And what did her sudden appearance mean for the budding connection between Victor and me? I mean, I get it, she was a tour guide, but which tour guide calls you baby? I was really done with this shit. I looked for my friends who were hanging by the pool. They were all really buzzed except Emily. She was always the sober one in the group. She got up and approached me. I dropped myself on the comfy beanbag that was placed next to the pool. So, how was it? Well, let's just say it was an interesting experience. Victor turned out to be quite the Casanova. What? No way. He seemed like such a genuine guy when he approached you at the club. What happened? At first, everything was perfect. He was charming, attentive, and full of stories about his travels. Then, we went for a bit of dancing. It was going so well, you won't believe how I was swooning at his moves and so on. But then a girl comes out of nowhere and clings to his shirt, calling him baby and stuff like that. Ouch! The worst kind then. He didn't look like he was fazed at all by it. He excused himself and started chatting with her instead. I stood there for 7 minutes, then it started to feel embarrassing, so I left. Oh no, Bianca, I'm so sorry. That must have been disappointing and hurtful. Did you not feel like confronting him? I did, but I couldn't muster the courage to do so. He was attractive. I was just another pawn in his game, LOL. And here I thought chivalry still exists. My friends and I decided to leave the club. It was getting late and there was no point dilly-dallying any longer. Half of them were sloshed already. I called for a cab while Emily and one of the waitresses took hold of my drunk friends. Wow, quite a sight that was. We reached our hotel, and after putting all my friends in our respective rooms, Emily and I decided to take another martini before going to bed. The reception was busy, so I had to go fetch the drinks. We also had some pizza ordered along with some Italian cioccola. I was almost forgetting about the guy I encountered at the party until I reached into my pockets. I found a note. It was written, "If whatever magic we had back there was true, then meet me tomorrow afternoon in front of the statue that depicts the birth of Rome." Oh my God. Emily, look. When did he slide this in? Gosh, that creep. How clique. Such a stereotypical Casanova move. Charming young man planting a lover's note in the naive girl's pocket. Jeez, I'm too drunk for this shit. Oh, hush, Emily. You're ruining its charm. I bet he did that when he planted that kiss on my cheek. That was kind of smooth. Not gonna lie. Please tell me you're not considering actually meeting him, are you? I mean, I don't mind giving him a second chance. These second chances are the worst. I never really trusted them. There was this guy back in Florida I used to really like, but he turned out to be a total douchebag as well. But my heart was a mess. I wanted him so bad, I gave him a second chance. Guess what, Bianca? It got messier. Jeez, girl, relax. I promised that this would be a harmless second chance. Now help me break the riddle. I was supposed to meet him in front of the Capitoline Wolf, one of the greatest symbols of Rome. From the moment our eyes met in the bustling streets of Rome, Victor and I embarked on a journey that would forever change our lives. The magic of the city infused our hearts, and love bloomed amidst the cobblestone streets and ancient ruins. As our relationship deepened, we discovered a profound connection that went beyond mere attraction. We shared dreams, hopes, and ambitions, supporting each other through the triumphs and trials of life. With time, our love grew stronger, and we knew we were meant to build a future together. We celebrated each other's successes and lifted each other up. Vicky was my biggest cheerleader, always pushing me to chase my dreams and encouraging me to believe in my own strength. Likewise, I stood by Vicky's side, supporting his endeavors and providing a safe harbor when life's storms raged around us. Together we explored the world with wide-eyed wonder. We embarked on countless adventures, embracing the joy of discovering new places and cultures. Whether we were strolling through ancient streets, gazing at breathtaking landscapes, or simply enjoying the simple moments of togetherness, every experience was enriched by our love for one another. I was head over heels for Victor. He was my type of guy. My type of red flag, that is. Baby, I was looking through some venues. You want to check it with me? Just a second. The noodles are on the stove. I was living with Victor at the time. He had a cozy house back in Michigan. He was the one who invited me to stay with him. Ran a small business, something to do with travel and tourism. He would leave around 11 a.m. and return by 7. I used to work from home, mostly in customer service. My shift was almost the same as his. After work, we would either go for a drive or a small walk. So, where have you decided? Noticed anything you like? I was thinking, how about the same place where we met, in Rome? What? Are you serious? Wouldn't that be too expensive? I mean, the venue, the decorations, invitations, food. Nah, don't worry about it, love. I spoke to one of my rich clients from Italy. He said he would do all the arrangements at a lot less price. Interesting acquaintances. How do you even manage to make such alliances? I should totally learn from you. That's my secret. But you are a special one, so I don't mind. Want to know? Absolutely. Tell me. Well, I use a lot of what? My sexy charm. Screw you, so full of yourself. In the picturesque setting of Rome, surrounded by loved ones, we exchanged vows and committed our lives to one another. The joy and excitement on that day were immeasurable as we embarked on the adventure of marriage hand in hand. We were ready to face the world as a team, navigating the highs and lows with unwavering support. But like many others, I too realized some men change a lot after marriage. Maybe the spark of romanticism fades and we fall into a cycle of monotony and ambiguity. A few years, things were going all right. We had our regular work and free time. Victor grew busier. He would take me to parties and clubbing, but sometimes he would go alone with his friends. After I got pregnant with our first child, things started to change for the worse. Victor would be a bit neglectful towards me. I mean, sometimes he would be the sweetest person and I would melt. He probably started to think I got bored or something because I don't go out with him to fancy parties and crowded pubs anymore. Babe, is something the matter? I feel like you're really upset about something and not telling me. Why do you ask? It's the vibe I'm catching. You usually aren't this quiet. I mean, you are the definition of an extrovert. Right. Please, babe, tell me. You will feel a whole lot lighter, and you only said that communication should be our greatest mantra. Yeah, I know. I do want to know one thing. You are still you, right? What do you mean, I'm still me? I don't understand. What did I do to turn you off? I think the baby thingy could have waited. Maybe if we would have given us a bit more time. What the hell do you mean by that? It's been 2 years. I know, but I miss the old us. We used to hang out and go on small travels and adventurous dates. Remember our trip to Africa, babe? The wildest of experiences. Ah, how I long to go back amongst the serene wildlife and sweet forest liqueur. Then why don't you? What? Is a pregnant wife making her husband feel trapped? Oh, babe, why are you making it sound like that? Did I say that? You just twisted my entire explanation. Jesus. I was just saying that we could have waited a little more before, getting into parenthood. So, is it my fault, babe? You wanted a baby, remember? We were on a date when you pointed at a child saying you wanted one of those. Then I laughed, and you got all pouty because I wasn't taking you seriously. His phone rang. He excused himself, saying it was his mother, and went to the other room. I sat there in silence. What just happened? Did we just fight? This was our very first argument. In the following years, we became parents of 2 beautiful girls. Victor loved spending time with them, taking them for a drive, sometimes to parties. When I strongly objected, he would get angry. He also didn't like too much crying and whining. He would always excuse himself if his daughters were having a tantrum. He just wanted the cream of the hard work, not the hard work itself. I shifted my job from home to an office space. I was getting paid more. Victor would often leave for business trips. He started to dress more handsomely, which was nothing to be concerned about, but I couldn't help but feel insecure. How are the kids, Bob? They're fine, Mom. Growing up really fast. Georgie throws a lot less tantrums these days. Oh, my lovelies, when will you all visit me again? It's been over a year now. How is that wretched son-in-law of mine? You are not wrong about that. Well, he's on a business trip to Goa. Where is that? Sounds like something Caribbean. Nope, it's a part of India. Oh, damn, I always wanted to visit that place with your dad. If only he didn't reach his expiration date. Jeez, Mom, your jokes are becoming horribly dark these days. Oh, you know how I find refuge in dark humor. You get to laugh more than you get to cry. You should slowly resort to that too. As the days passed by, I couldn't help but notice a change in Victor, my so-called loving husband. His once warm and trusting demeanor had given way to suspicion and unease. It was as if a shadow had cast itself over our relationship, leaving me bewildered and longing to understand the source of his growing distrust. At first, I dismissed it as mere stress from work or external factors taking a toll on his emotions. But as the subtle signs persisted, I realized that there was something deeper at play. The lingering glances, the guarded conversations, and the moments of distance between us became increasingly difficult to ignore. One evening, as we sat together in the quiet sanctuary of our home, I mustered the courage to address the elephant in the room. With a gentle touch, I took his hand in mine, my eyes searching his for answers. I have been noticing a lot of things lately. I just wanted to clarify if it is something I should be concerned about. What is it now? The frequent calls, Victor. Who is it? There was a mixture of vulnerability and concern in his gaze, a flicker of fear betraying the walls he had built around himself. Look, babe, I care about you and trust you. Just assure me that it's nothing concerning. Care about me? You call that caring? It feels more like you're prying into my personal life. I'm sorry if it came across that way, Victor. I didn't mean to invade your privacy. But when I saw you keeping everything to yourself, I couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Well, sometimes I need to handle things on my own. I don't always need you jumping in trying to fix everything. Years went by, and our relationship was concretely built on a cloud of secrecy. Victor refused to talk to me. He even grew distant from our children. I became very aloof and introverted. His extroversion increased. He would go to parties and sometimes not come back. His phone calls were even more frequent and sometimes argumentative. It was until the day it revealed itself. Victor's face was filled with panic, his eyes darting around the room. He pleaded with me to pack our things and run away with the children, claiming that his mother was coming home to exact an old revenge. But at that moment, something within me shifted. I knew who it was, and for some reason I was waiting for this to happen. Emily informed me long back. You know, it really saddens me that I had to be the one to give my best friend the news. It is about Victor, isn't it? What has he been doing? Well, she revealed that Victor has been taking drugs, partying, and sleeping with other women. One of them was incredibly in love with him. She got pregnant and Victor left her right after that. She was in a total mess. Her name is Leslie. She was Victor's favorite mistress. He would often go to a love hotel where they both would sleep multiple times. Emily found her at a club, crying profusely. She was 2 drinks down. Emily just wanted to small talk. Little did she know it would end up in this drama. We decided to invite her to the charade. After all, that sneaky bastard needed a lesson. With a mixture of determination and pain, I looked into Victor's eyes, and in a voice filled with both defiance and sorrow, I responded, "She's already here, Victor, and it's not your mother who should be running away now." What? What do you mean? It is Leslie, isn't it? Wait, how do you... Because your boring wife can be extremely intelligent sometimes. She has her ways. Babe, look, I can explain. Oh, you don't have to. I slapped him hard across his face. I went ahead and grappled him by his neck and threw him off. I was so tempted to hurt him more the way he hurt me, but I controlled myself. Leslie entered the room with her friend. They packed on a couple of blows at him. It was so satisfying to watch. The famous warning, "Once a Casanova, always a Casanova," earned its rightful position in my heart. I joyously trashed his entire house, breaking all his valuables, turned it into a freaking rage room. I swear. He just wanted me as his trophy wife, someone he could show off to his friends. Once I became boring, he lost his interest. He did that with other girls too. Leslie and I knew what to do. He would be paying for both of our child support. We planned to make him penniless. We were in the process. It would take some time, but I wasn't going to leave him for what he had done. My children shifted to their grandmas. I decided to stay back so that I could complete the legal work before finally settling with my mother and kids. We would connect to 2 other girls who equally hated him. He was nothing but a puny little mouse in our trap. After a few months of going to and fro to court, it was finally settled. Today, I stand tall and proud. The pain and heartbreak of that fateful revelation have shaped me into a woman of resilience and unwavering strength. I have emerged from the ashes a survivor of betrayal, ready to embrace life's challenges and bask in the love and happiness I truly deserve. In the end, I found solace in knowing that the one who should have been running away was never me. It was the darkness of deceit and betrayal that Victor and his mistress had chosen to embrace. And with every step forward, I reclaimed my own power, determined to forge a future built on my terms, with an unwavering commitment to my own happiness and well-being. Hi, I'm Ava. A few years ago, I was an ordinary housewife searching for fulfillment from the monotony of my daily routine. Yet deep inside my heart, there burned the desire to open a bakery. This dream consumed my every thought, adding a sense of purpose to my life that drove me forward, so I decided to talk to my husband about it. "Robert, I was thinking about starting a baking business." "A bakery? Are you serious? You do not have any experience or skills for that. It's just a silly fantasy." "But I have a passion for baking and I want to earn and support you." "What is the point, Ava? You're just wasting your time with these silly dreams of yours." "I know it may seem like a long shot, and I believe in myself. I want to create something special, something that brings joy to others." "Joy? Don't you see the reality? We have bills to pay and responsibilities to fulfill. Your little bakery will not bring in any money. It's a waste of time and resources." "I want to believe in myself and what I can accomplish. I don't want to live a life full of regrets, wondering what could have been." "Fine, Ava. Do whatever you want. But don't come crying to me when it all falls apart. I will not support this foolishness." I didn't get demotivated by Robert's words. I saved up some money and started baking for friends. "Robert, guess what? I saved up some money and started a home baking business." "Oh, a home baking business? I told you it's a waste of time." "Well, I know it is challenging, but I am trying my best. Trying your best, Ava? Let us be realistic. There is no way you can compete with established brands and shops. It is just a hobby, not a real business. It is more than just a hobby to me, Robert. I am motivated to make it work. Motivated? Ava, you need to face reality. Your small business is going nowhere. You are just wasting your time and energy. Your business schedule is affecting our relationship. You are always so caught up in your baking that you do not have time for anything else. I'm sorry if it feels that way, but I am doing my best to balance everything. This business means a lot to me, and I hope you can understand and support me instead of criticizing me. It is just frustrating to see you so consumed by something that does not seem to be going anywhere. Honestly, my business was going nowhere, but I believed in the potential inside me and continued to work hard. Even the friends who tasted my food said it was delicious. I just need some marketing. I remained positive. Maybe Robert's criticism would turn into respect once I start making a profit. But unfortunately, something terrible happened to me. On that day, Robert did not come back home. I tried calling him, but he did not answer. I thought he might be busy with work at the office. The next day, he called me. Ava, start packing your bags. Hey, bags? Are you going somewhere? Not both of us, just you. Me? Where? Out of my house. I don't understand. What is this silly joke? Come home and we can talk. It is not a joke. I'm going to marry Mia and I want her to live here. So before she comes, I want you to leave the house. I couldn't process the news. I stood there frozen. Eventually, I regained my senses and gathered the strength to speak. What? But before I could finish asking my question, he had already hung up the phone. I felt confused and sad. I fell on the floor, feeling very overwhelmed by everything that was happening. While I was lost in my thoughts, I suddenly woke up when I heard the doorbell ringing. I quickly went to the door, eager to find out who it was. When I opened it, I saw my little sister, Mia, and my husband, Robert. It was a surprise because Mia and I hadn't been in touch, and I never expected her to betray me like this. There they stood, with Mia dressed in white and holding hands with my husband. Have you not left yet? Why would you do this to me? If there was a problem, you should have talked to me. Why did you betray me like this, Robert? What did I lack that you had to turn to another woman? You have nothing. You are just a housewife who does not even know how to make me happy. Look at Mia. So beautiful and perfect. She makes me happy. You're always busy with household chores or your silly bakery. Busy? Who do I do everything for? You and our home, right? Well, that doesn't matter now. We're married and it is time for you to leave my house. Either you go on your own or I will push you out. Mia smirked and I became furious. What is so funny? You're my little sister. Why would you do this to me? Your sister? Oh, please. I have a higher class, unlike you. My new husband is wealthy and I can keep him happy. So you should leave our house. We have to host a wedding party this evening, so you better go. For the past 2 years, I had been trying so hard to make my marriage work and to please Robert. But nothing worked and I felt angry at myself. Mia made me feel like I was not enough. There was nothing left for me in that house. Yes, legally it was in Robert's name, but I had put so much effort into making every corner of that home perfect. And within a few minutes, everything shattered before my eyes. Blaming my destiny, I walked out of that place. Suddenly, while I was walking, someone pulled me to the side. It was a woman. I looked at her, surprised and angry. What? Rose? Can't you see you were walking in the middle of the road? You could have been hit by a car. Rose was my friend from childhood. We met after so many years, and that too in such a situation. She almost shouted at me, and I snapped back to my senses. I had been walking on the road without paying attention, lost in my thoughts. I felt a chill thinking about what would have happened if that car had hit me. Are you even listening to me? What's wrong with you? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, Rose. Huh. It is okay. Do you need any help? Where are you going? I can drop you off. Where was I going? I did not have any close friends in the city. My parents lived far away, and I did not want to trouble them. Robert was my everything. I felt ashamed of myself. Actually, I don't know where to go. What? Never mind. Can we at least go to the restaurant? I'm super hungry. Are you? And then I realized, yes, I was hungry, but I had left home without any money. What was I going to do for food and living? I had no work experience, so who would hire me? I'm sorry, I do not have any money right now. Oh, that's fine. Just come with me. Don't worry, we're friends. Okay. I went to a restaurant with her. It was beautiful and looked expensive. The chandelier hanging in the center caught my attention. Hey, what brings you here? I thought you were in Australia. Yes, I was studying there. After completing my degree, I came here for work. Rose, you don't have to go through all this trouble for me. It looks expensive. Hey, it's okay. I'll take care of the lunch. We got interrupted as the food arrived. It looked delicious. Soup, Caesar salad, and barbecue chicken burger. I was hungry, so I started eating without waiting for Rose. Did you like the food? Yes, it's nice, but the burger buns could have been better. Really? Our buns and pizzas are very famous. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. The food is good, but there's room for improvement. The buns could be crispier and better baked. The soup could have more seasoning. You are talking like a chef. Oh, no. I'm just a stay-at-home wife. Well, I used to be. Anyway, I bake a lot and even started a baking business, but it's not going anywhere. Oh, you have so much knowledge. Why don't you try working at restaurants? I'm not qualified for that. Not every restaurant requires qualifications. You seem experienced, and that's enough. I can tell something really bad has happened to you. Would you like to share it with me? Rose looked concerned and helpful, and I wanted to share everything with someone. I explained everything to her. That is terrible. What kind of man is he? We can sue him legally. I'll help you. Hey, no, I don't want to do anything, and I don't need anything from him. What is the use if there's no love left? Let him live peacefully. You are so kind-hearted, Ava. He did wrong to you, and he will pay for his actions, but until then, focus on yourself. You have so much potential. Try going out and getting a job. Even I need to become independent. Do you have any references here? I can start from here. Oh, sure. I'll book you an appointment with the owner. That would be so helpful. Are you in the management department? Yes, you can say that. Rose paid the bill and we left the restaurant. I had found new hope. So where will you go now? Actually, I don't know. I'll call some of my friends and find a temporary place. I am your friend, right? Why don't you come with me? Are you sure? You've already done so much for me. No problem, dear. Stay with me until you find a permanent place. Thank you so much. I moved in with Rose. Her home was beautiful with a big library full of business books. I lay on the bed thinking about Robert and Mia's wedding party. I was deeply in love with Robert and it wasn't easy to move on, but I decided to trust myself and give it a try. The next morning, I got ready using Rose's office clothes. I looked at myself in the mirror and kept staring. I looked smart. I wasn't used to this look. I usually dress simply, always wearing an apron and smelling like tomatoes. Maybe that's why Robert left me. My thoughts were interrupted by Rose. You look smart. Thank you. Are you ready for the interview? Yes, hoping for the best. Good, I'll drive you to the restaurant. We arrived at the restaurant. Rose told me where to go and she went to a meeting. I went to the waiting area feeling so nervous. After all, it was my first job interview. I gathered my courage and stepped inside. When I opened the door, I was surprised. It was Rose. Rose? Sorry, can I come in? Hey, Ava, you don't have to be formal. Come in. Hey, Ava, you don't have to be formal. Come and sit. I sat in front of her. She was the owner of the restaurant. The previous day, I criticized her restaurant's food. I felt ashamed. Sorry, Ava, this is kind of a surprise for you, but yesterday I did not want to overwhelm you. Oh, I understand. Shall we start the interview then? I judged you enough yesterday, and you are the best candidate for me. But the head chef wants you to work in the kitchen today, and we will let you know tomorrow about the job role and the rest of the formalities. Thank you so much, Rose. No need, Ava. Do your best in the kitchen. I went into the kitchen. It was an amazing place. I had only seen such a place in movies or cooking shows. I never thought I would get a chance to visit such a place. I decided to give it my all. The head chef told me to make the same soup we had eaten the previous day and to bake the burger buns. I knew what was missing, so I did my best. The head chef was surprised and praised me a lot. Everyone was happily tasting my dishes, and they could not believe I was just a stay-at-home wife before. But more than that, I was surprised at my newfound potential. There was a long way to go. Eventually, I got the job, and the salary was surprisingly high. I had never had this much money before. I was happy working there. I put all my effort into the job because it was all I had left in my life. Over time, I got promoted and became the head chef. I bought my own house in the city where no one could kick me out. Our breads and soups became famous and people came just to taste them. I even published a recipe book. But deep down in my heart, my dream of having my bakery was still unfulfilled. I decided to talk to Rose about it. Hey, I want to talk to you about something. Yes, Ava, please go ahead. Actually, do you remember when I told you about my dream of opening a bakery? Yes, I do. Well, I've been thinking about opening my bakery, but to do that, I would have to quit my job at your restaurant. Oh, that's so sad. But I don't want to hold you back, Ava. I know you have the potential to establish your brand, and I'm with you. Thank you so much, Rose. You are the best person I have ever met. I will train the restaurant's chef well, so you don't have to worry about the food after I leave. I know, Ava. You will do your best for our restaurant. And so I left the restaurant. I had enough savings to open a bakery in the city center, and that's exactly what I did. I gathered the best team possible and we opened my bakery called Ava's. I expected it to do well, but our small bakery exceeded my expectations. People were so happy with the quality of our bread and cakes. Soon, we expanded the small bakery into a restaurant and it became the city's new favorite spot. It was everywhere, even featured in food magazines. I had achieved my dream. Ava's had become a brand. I remembered the chandelier in Rose's restaurant and decided to create a special interior for our newly opened restaurant. I started getting quotations from many big companies interested in doing our interior design. And one day, something unexpected happened. I received a call. Hello, I'm Robert from RD Interiors. I'm calling about the contract for your restaurant's design. Can I get an appointment with the owner? I'd like to present in front of her. Yes, it was Robert, my ex-husband, who betrayed me and kicked me out of the house. I had come so far from my past. Why was he appearing in my life again? Anger, sadness, surprise, so many mixed emotions filled my mind. Hello? Robert, is this you? Oh, Ava, I couldn't recognize your voice. It's changed a lot. What do you want from me now? I'm sorry, Ava. I shouldn't have done that to you. I couldn't understand your importance and potential back then. Please forgive me. You broke my trust, and it's beyond forgiveness. Please leave me alone. I'm not interested in talking to you. Ava, please, at least listen to... Don't you understand? I said I am not interested in talking to you anymore. Ava, please listen to me for 5 minutes, then hang up. Fine, talk. But don't expect anything in return. Ava, my previous company fired me because I wasn't attentive at work. I started working at RD Interiors a few months ago, but even this company isn't satisfied with me. My responsibilities have increased and I can't handle it all. Please, this contract is my last hope. If I don't get it, my company will fire me. Oh, sorry, Robert. I'm not interested in working with your company. Ava, please. And I hung up the call, remembering how he had hung up on me while I was pleading for an explanation. Rose came to meet me on Saturday. She had become like family to me, and I desperately wanted to tell her everything. Hey, Star. Hey. What happened? You don't look fine as usual. Is everything okay? Well, the new restaurant and its interior. What about it? Are you struggling to choose the best one? Actually, I got a call and it was from Robert. He was asking for a contract for the interior of this new restaurant. Robert? Who? Your ex-husband? Yes. Ava, I told you he would pay for his actions. This is a good opportunity for revenge. Yes, I know. I want him to realize he made a mistake. I told him we don't want to work with his company. They might have fired him for not getting the contract. Ah, well, it was not an official way of securing a contract anyway. I wonder what happened to him. He was very sincere at work, and now he got fired from 2 companies? Strange. Yes, he's paying for his actions. But don't think too much about it. Let us go out. Yeah, sure. I received a text from Robert. I'm sorry, Ava. I've done you wrong. I have nothing left. Please come back to me. We'll work on our relationship again. I'm going to divorce Mia. I've realized your love and effort. While eating ice cream with Rose, I read that message without feeling anything. One thing was certain. I would never go back to him. The person who wasn't there for me during my difficult times was now demanding my attention during my happy moments. Honestly, that was my achievement, but I no longer had any love left for Robert, so I texted him back saying, I have moved on, Robert. Wishing you all the best for your future. And continued enjoying my ice cream. Hello guys, my name's Ivy. My husband Ace has been looking at some stories here and encouraged me to post my own story. Yes, my husband encouraged me to tell you guys about my nightmare mother-in-law, Miriam. To be honest, Ace had always warned me against his mother, but I was a naive girl who didn't know any better. I gave in to my mother-in-law's insane demands on me to realize that she was treating me as an ATM. My husband and his sister Lisa always disliked the fact that I was spending a lot of money on my mother-in-law. They said, Ivy, I don't know how you don't see it. My mom is being very unreasonable with her demands. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you have to spoil her. Ivy, she is our mom. We know exactly what she's like. You need to stop giving in to her demands. She will only escalate her spendthrift ways and never be grateful for your help. But she's family, guys. How can I not help my own family? I know she can be a little unreasonable, but I can't afford her demands, so I give in to those. I don't have my parents anymore, so I see her as a mother figure. We know that, Ivy, but she doesn't see you as a daughter. She sees you as a cash cow. Hell, she sees all of us as her cash cows. You know that all 3 of us give her money. She literally spends it all and still asks for more. My mom is living a life that's way above her means. She shows no appreciation for it. Ivy, you need to rein in your finances and curb her spending. Don't make her more entitled. Ace and Lisa have always been critical of their mom's spending. Yes, Miriam did have a very posh lifestyle that she can't afford. However, with all three of us giving her money, she had plenty to spend on her whim. I didn't have the heart to turn her down when she asked for more. I did see her as my own parent. I loved her so much that I had actually planned to buy her a house. Miriam had recently come across a house that completely fit her style and taste, and she had been going insane over it, so I told Ace. Ace, I'm thinking about getting Miriam the house she likes. We have some money left over after our house purchase, plus my uncle's inheritance is also still in my account. We can use that and buy her a house. Seriously? You would do that for Mom? But why? I know she doesn't own a house, but isn't buying a house too much? Don't worry about it. It makes me sad that your mom doesn't have her own house when we have one for ourselves. She has been complaining about it. I was thinking about buying her the house. We could surprise her on her birthday. Well, I think you should think it through a little. If you are sure, I will contribute some money as well. I'll talk to Lisa and find out if she wants to help. With that, we were all set to buy Miriam the house. I was paying around 90% of the money because I earned way more than Ace and Lisa. Plus, I had a lot of inheritance from my late parents and uncle. I had no problem in buying Miriam a house and making her happy. However, I had no idea that the woman who I loved like my mother was just using me for money. I found that out soon enough. It was a week before her birthday when Miriam came to visit us. Initially, we thought that the visit was to invite us to her birthday party. She did talk about the invitation, but moved on to a very different topic. She was, again, showing us pictures of her dream house and telling us how much she loved it. But the conversation quickly went south when she said something really entitled. It went, "So, what do you think of the house? This is my dream house, you know. Please, tell me it is the best you have ever seen. I plan to buy it immediately, like in a week." It is a beautiful house, Miriam. I must say, it does look very posh and the lawn is a showstopper. What do you think, Ace? Won't it be perfect for me? It has 4 bedrooms so you and Lisa can come and stay anytime you like. Yeah, the house is beautiful, Mom. But it looks super expensive. How are you going to afford it? You seem dead set on owning this place. Well, why would money be a problem? Ivy's going to help me buy the house, of course. Why worry when I have a rich daughter-in-law? The way Miriam spoke about it was a little insulting to me. I didn't like the fact that she naturally assumed I would help her pay for it. Now, look, I did want to buy her a house, but the way she dumped the financial responsibility on me kind of put me off. Ace was also looking uncomfortable with what Miriam said. However, I brushed the weird feeling aside. I didn't want to spoil the surprise, so I said, "What are you talking about, Miriam? I'm not sure I understand." "Why do you think I came to talk to you? I don't need your opinions on the house. I already like it anyway. I simply wanted you to help me put the down payment on the house." So you just automatically assumed that Ivy would pay the down payment for you? What if she says no? Ivy has plenty of money. She can spare some for her mother-in-law. Why on earth will she say no to her poor old mother-in-law? Am I right, Ivy? I don't know, Miriam. We just bought our house a few months ago. Right now, I'm not very comfortable spending so much money. I need to save a little for our future. What? So now that I'm asking for help, you are suddenly thinking about savings? Don't be so selfish, Ivy. I know the down payment amount is peanuts to you. Stop this nonsense and hurry up about the money. The house has many buyers. I don't want it to be sold to someone else. Mom, that is a very entitled thing to say. You can't just demand Ivy to pay the down payment. And what about the rest of the money? Do you have funds to pay the mortgage? The mortgage won't be much. I'm sure Ivy won't mind spending a few more dollars every month. It's not a big deal. Maybe you and Lisa can chip in from time to time. Ace was absolutely stunned by Miriam's demands. And so was I. It was one thing to ask for help, but she was openly demanding we give her money. For some reason, it started to bother me a little, but me and Ace made it very clear to her that we couldn't help. Miriam did look very angry, but held her tongue for the rest of the evening. After she left, Ace was the one to be concerned about our plan. He said, "Look, Ivy, what my mom demanded today was outrageous. I think you should reconsider buying her the house. I don't want her to take advantage of you. She does that enough." It's okay, Ace. It's my fault that I readily say yes to her demands. She must have gotten carried away with her dream house. I'm sure she will regret it later. Let's not punish her for one mistake. You are seriously something else, Ivy. I hope my mom treats you better in the future. She has no idea how good her daughter-in-law is. Even though Miriam was being a little unreasonable, I didn't think it was worth being punished. I mean, people do unreasonable things when they really want something. Miriam didn't react as much when I told her no, so I thought we were good. Oh boy, I was wrong. The fiasco happened on Miriam's birthday the next week. She had arranged for a grand party that suited her expensive taste. From the looks of it, Miriam had spent a lot of money on the arrangement. I could tell Ace was already dreading sending our next month's allowance to Miriam. However, I was way too excited to finally tell Miriam about the house. But nothing went according to plan. When we sat down for dinner, Miriam started to make some very mean jokes at my expense. She said, "Ace, look around and see how many beautiful women are at the party. You know, you absolutely broke my heart when you married Ivy. I mean, look at her, guys. I don't know what tricks she used to trap you, probably her wealth." Mom, what the hell are you saying? Shush now. Ace, we all know the truth. But people here need to know too. Guys, I don't know why Ace even married Ivy. She's rude, selfish, and a total ugly duckling. Oh wait, the ugly duckling at least transformed in the end. This one can't even do that. I was absolutely stunned by what Miriam just said. Yes, I am not a beautiful girl. I have always known that. I have been bullied countless times by my friends and classmates. Hell, my own family called me ugly and made me cry often. I was in therapy for years to cope with that trauma. Those words from Miriam absolutely crushed me from inside. I teared up and started to cry silently. Ace looked dumbstruck, and so did everyone else. When I didn't say anything, Lisa was the first one to speak up. She said, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you say that? Are you freaking insane?" What? I simply told the truth. When Ace married Ivy, I thought that at least he was marrying a rich woman. I made no comments on her ugly face or body. Now I see that she is not even generous with her money. What is she even good for then? Mom, how dare you insult Ivy in her own house? I am ashamed of you. I cannot believe you can be so insensitive. Apologize to Ivy right now. Why the hell would I do that? She needs to apologize to me for being a stuck-up witch. I am sure she is aware that I am right, that she is good for nothing. That's enough, Mom. No need to apologize to Ivy. You don't need to apologize to anyone. Everyone was even more stunned to hear that from Ace. But I could tell that Ace was extremely angry. I could see it in his eyes, even through my teary vision. He banged on the table to make Miriam stop speaking. My stupid mother-in-law took it as a sign that he supported her. She said, "See, my son is the reasonable one. He knows that I have done nothing wrong. Ivy is an ugly woman, and he knows it too." I stopped you from apologizing, not because I support your outrageous words. I stopped you because at this point, an apology won't cut it. Mom, you are one vile woman. I'm ashamed to have you as my mom. Ace, what are you saying? How can you speak to me like that? This is exactly how I'm going to speak to you from now on. Never in my life I had thought that my own mother could be so greedy and spiteful. You insulted my wife and reduced her to nothing because she said she won't help you get a house. Mom, you asked Ivy to buy you a house. How can you be so entitled? You literally called her. I have the right to be upset. She's so rich but can't even help out her own family. I cannot see why you are so mad at me. Ace, you should be angry at Ivy for being so selfish. Ivy is selfish? Mom, you have absolutely no idea. You never needed to make an entitled demand from her, Mom. She was going to buy a house for you. Since we already own a place, she decided to use some of her inheritance money to get you a house. What? Are you serious? Ivy's going to buy me a house? You should have said that sooner, son. God, I need to be prepared to move into a house fast. I have so much packing to do. Why did you two keep this news from me? By the time Miriam changed her tune, I was freaking done with her. With what little composure I had, I decided on the spot there was no way I was going to give Miriam a house. She doesn't deserve one. Hell, she doesn't deserve anything. So I said, "We didn't tell you anything because it was meant to be a surprise. We had already talked to the real estate guy and planned everything. I had no idea you would come and ask me to pay your down payment." But when I did ask for the down payment, you should have given me the money, or you should have told me the truth. It was so silly of you to hide such a news. So when are you handing over the keys to my house? I can't wait to move in. You must be out of your mind if you think I will still give you the house. I was supposed to reveal the surprise today, but you absolutely ruined everything. You called me names and told me hurtful things. I will not give you the house. Wait, what? Why not? Look, I said all those things because I was upset. It was like a little joke. It was harmless. You're overreacting now. Oh, so now these words were jokes? What about the time you told Lisa that you were simply stating facts? You won't have to answer that, Miriam. I already know what you think about me. Well, guess what? This ugly duckling will not give you a house. You're being ridiculous over a joke. Ace, please manage your wife. She's embarrassing. I deserve to live in a good house too. She is purposefully tormenting me because I made a joke. Are you kidding me? You are the one who embarrassed yourself and everyone here. Mom, ask around and see how many people agree with your stupid logic. You never did and still don't deserve a house. In fact, don't worry. I won't support you financially anymore, and I won't let my wife spend a single penny on you. You know what, Mom? After today, you won't get a penny from me either. It was disgusting what you did to Ivy. I simply can't and won't support a horrid woman like you. You don't even have any shame. Miriam was absolutely taken aback by what we said. She had never expected to be treated like this. Hell, I didn't expect that I would get so much support from Ace and Lisa. Miriam tried to talk to them and everyone at the party. She tried to convince them of how much she deserved the house. Well, thankfully, no one took her side. In fact, a few women criticized her for being so cruel to her daughter-in-law. I was glad that people could finally see what a horrible person she was. Lisa and Ace continued to defend me and berate Miriam. Miriam still thought that she was entitled to the house that I was going to gift her. She had no remorse for insulting me and targeting that one aspect of my life that I was insecure about. Ace knew what kind of impact her words would have on me, so he was extremely angry and didn't hold back his words. He said, "Mom, for years, I have seen you take advantage of my wife. I tried to remind my wife that she's doing too much for you, but she loved you like her own mom. She said that she's happy to help you out. Look how you paid her back for her kindness." Ace, why are you talking to me like that? I told you it was a joke. If it hurt her so badly, I can apologize. I told you, Mom. Your apology won't solve anything right now. Me and Ivy are done with you. Even if she changes her mind and tries to give you a house, I will stop her. How can you say that, Ace? I'm your mom. Don't you want to see me in a nice house? Trust me, Mom. None of us would like to see you in a nice house now. You don't deserve it. I would say Ivy would be better off gifting a stranger the house. At least they'll appreciate it instead of acting entitled. I can't believe I have such ungrateful kids like you. I raised you for over 2 decades, and this is how you treat me? You two are pathetic in choosing an outsider like Ivy over me. You are the ungrateful one, Mom. We have financially supported you for years. Instead of being grateful, you demanded more and more from us. I have said today, and I will say this again, me and Ivy are never going to give you a penny anymore. And neither will I or my family. Good luck trying to keep a roof over your head with your entitlement. If you think we are ungrateful children, we will show you exactly how ungrateful we can be. After that, Ace just held my hand and took me away from the house. Lisa also left with her husband and child. Miriam was busy crying over how her children treated her. Meanwhile, her guests had some curt words for her and started to leave the party as well. Me, Ace, Lisa, and her family later went to a nearby restaurant to end the day on a good note. I won't lie and say I was okay. I was crying as soon as Miriam was out of sight. The people around me did their best to cheer me up and make me feel better. From the very next day, Miriam started to blow up our phones with nasty texts. She kept blaming us for ruining her birthday party and her reputation. The text was slowly getting extremely deranged and threatening. Me, Ace, and Lisa simply blocked her number after telling her not to contact us again. I guess Miriam still didn't realize the gravity of her situation. When the month ended, she freaked out. As promised, neither Ace nor Lisa sent her any money. They did financially cut her off and left her to her own devices. Miriam showed up at our door begging and crying for money. Apparently, every week she would spend all the money we gave her on having a luxurious lifestyle. She didn't save a penny. In fact, last month she took a loan from a friend to host her grand birthday party. Now she was crying because she had no money and the friend was threatening legal action. Trust me, guys, no one wanted to help her out. Both Ace and Lisa shut the door in her face and told her that she needed to face the consequences of her own actions. We have decided to continue no contact. An aunt on Miriam's side texted us that Miriam moved into her house. She would drill some sense into Miriam and make her become a responsible woman. We told her that we no longer care. In the end, I decided that I would buy the house after all. Will I give it to Miriam? Absolutely not. I would buy the house so that she loses the opportunity to buy her dream house. Instead, I plan to give the house to Lisa. She and her husband are expecting their second child and need a bigger home. I offered them the house and they were adamant to pay at least half with their own money. I told them that it was a gift for being amazing in-laws. Hello, people. I'm Sarah. This story will show you how fast people can change, how jealousy and entitlement can spoil someone's life. I come from a pretty wealthy family. I don't like to boast about my riches since they belong to my father. Still, I mentioned it because it is relevant to the story. My husband, Griffin, was an employee at my father James's company. My dad worked hard to establish the company, and over the years it became big. While my mother didn't live long enough to enjoy the fruits of their labor, my dad continues to have a comfortable life. My husband, Griffin, is the son of a very close family friend of ours. Lola and Ken were like a second set of parents to me. It was them who helped me and Dad go through the grief of losing my mom. Griffin and I were also very close, and slowly we started to eventually date. He was my childhood sweetheart and the love of my life. Now, Ken and Lola are not as wealthy as we are. Naturally, Griffin used to hold some resentment towards me when we were younger. However, those complaints died down as my father offered him a job at his company. While I was happy for him, Griffin was a little put off. He said, "I can't believe your dad couldn't get me a better position. I mean, the salary isn't even close to what he earns. This is ridiculous." "Griffin, my dad gave you the job that you are qualified for. You have very limited skills while my dad actually owns the company. How can you even compare your salary with his earnings?" "He's the boss of the company. I'm engaged to his daughter. James could have gotten me a better position. He could have done this little for his son-in-law. What is the point of being his son-in-law when he can't even get me a good job?" "What are you saying, Griffin? You know my dad doesn't discriminate like that. Just because you're engaged to me, that doesn't mean he will automatically give you a job you don't deserve." "Oh, please. He could have at least let me manage the company and took a retirement or something. Do you know how shameful it is for me to have a lowly job while being engaged to the daughter of a businessman?" I had a tough time comprehending what Griffin was saying. We had just got engaged and my dad offered him a position in his company. Griffin was continuously complaining about his past job, so my father wanted to do him a favor. But my dad wouldn't have put him in a higher position just because he was engaged to me. Back then, a few of my friends told me that Griffin might be a gold digger. I had laughed in their faces. Lola and Ken were like parents to me, and I have known Griffin all my life. I was sure I knew him better. I was sure that he loved me. I was wrong. As soon as we got married, Griffin started to become nasty towards me. He stopped showing me affection and didn't even remember my birthday or anniversary. Slowly, he was starting to neglect me while making me do all the house chores on my own. I begged him to improve his behavior. I said, "Griffin, I can feel you drifting away from me. You have stopped showing affection and don't even want to spend time with me anymore. I'm a busy man, Sarah. I don't have a fortune like your father, so that I can sit on my ass every day. You're lucky your daddy's money lets you do that." "Griffin, I don't take my dad's money for my expenses. You know that. I work very hard around the house to be a good stay-at-home wife. I don't sit on my butt all day. What you are saying is very hurtful." "Well, I don't care. Since we are married now, you can't live like a princess anymore. Your father doesn't pay me enough to feed you for free. You better not slack off on your wifely duties." Griffin completely steamrolled my concerns and didn't even acknowledge my hurt. He simply started to berate me for what he thinks are my mistakes. Trust me, guys, I didn't live on my father's money. It was Griffin's idea for me to be a stay-at-home wife. He fed me some bullshit like how our kids would grow up better this way. Now I know that they were empty dreams made to isolate me and enslave me in the house. I was stuck, taking care of the house and taking care of him. Griffin didn't even talk to me politely anymore. All he did was scream at me when he came home. I was getting tired of his behavior and felt worn out. Still, I believed that he loved me, so I stayed and didn't tell anyone. The breaking point of our marriage happened a few days before my 29th birthday. While I was out running errands with my father, I spotted a beautiful dress in the mall. It was rather expensive, but my father bought me the dress as a birthday gift. It wasn't over the top or anything, just a simple white dress from an expensive brand. I liked the dress, so my dad told me to get it for myself. At home, I was trying the dress on to show Griffin my new gift. When Griffin walked in and looked at my dress, he immediately flew into a rage. I could tell that he hated the fact that I was wearing expensive clothes. Griffin was extremely upset and said, "I told you, Sarah, I don't like you going out in expensive clothes. Why don't you just listen to your husband for once?" "What I wear is none of your business, Griffin. I don't dictate what you wear, and you shouldn't do that either. It's just a simple white dress. Why are you overreacting about this anyway?" "Because your dad bought you this dress. You live with me now, and I can't afford to buy you expensive clothing. People will laugh at me when they realize that you buy stuff with your father's money." "I am my dad's only child, Griffin. Naturally, he would want to spoil me. If you want to gift me something, I won't even care about its price. I would be happy that my husband has lovingly bought me something." "I don't like to waste my money on gifts, Sarah. It was different when we were dating, but now you are my wife. I don't have to woo you with gifts. Instead of spending so much on yourself, you should be giving me gifts." I was absolutely shocked by what Griffin said. So he basically wanted me to take money from my dad and buy him stuff. It was bizarre. I had no idea why he thought that I would agree to it. Me and Griffin fought about this issue for a long time. Still, we didn't reach a compromise. I refused to give up my stuff to appease him, and he continued to demand that I buy him things with Dad's money. He said, "I know your dad gives you his credit card at times. You should take advantage of it and buy me some good stuff." Are you freaking mad? First of all, that is fraud. My dad gives me his credit card to pay his bills. You know he is not well, so I run errands for him. The dress was a birthday gift from him. I can't just go around and spend his money on stupid things. You can easily get me stuff as well. You don't need your dad's permission. If you can't buy me something as well, you have no right to get yourself a gift. No matter what, Griffin was adamant that I should either return the gift or convince my dad to give him something of the same value. I was getting tired of his demanding attitude. It was bad enough that he made me pay most of the bills, but it looked like Griffin always wanted more. Slowly, I was checking out of our marriage. Griffin didn't care and was barely home anyway. I was tired of feeling controlled in the marriage. However, divorce was also not very appealing to me right then. Somewhere in my heart, my love for Griffin still existed. I also thought that Griffin still loved me too, but I was forced to make a drastic decision because of his actions. On my birthday, Griffin didn't even wish me happy birthday the entire day. There were no gifts, no cake, no surprises, not even a mere happy birthday. His parents did wish me and showered me with affection, but my own husband didn't even acknowledge my birthday. My dad called me and I broke down on the call. He said, "Sarah, what is wrong, dear? Why are you crying like this? Are you sick?" "No, Dad, I'm not sick. It's just that Griffin didn't even wish me happy birthday today. He has been neglecting me for a while. I'm working very hard to stay in this marriage, but he is taking me for granted." "What are you saying, Sarah? I don't understand. I thought that you two have the perfect marriage. You haven't said anything otherwise. What happened so suddenly?" I finally broke down and told Dad everything. The controlling ways of Griffin, his demands for expensive gifts, all of it. Dad listened to me and was silent the entire time. I could tell that he was absolutely furious at Griffin. He said, "Why didn't you tell me sooner, Sarah? This is not okay. He's becoming abusive towards you." "I still love him, Dad. I didn't want to leave him or tell anyone about our problems. He hates it when I talk about my problems. I guess I got used to not talking about it. Sarah, I think you should take a step back and reevaluate your marriage. I don't like the way Griffin is behaving with you. He is starting to take advantage of you. You need to talk to him and stand up for yourself. I know, Dad. I'm willing to give him a chance, but at this point, I doubt he will change. Let him be for now, Sarah. Today's your birthday, and I don't want to spoil it. I will call Lola and Ken. We will arrange a nice dinner and go out to celebrate. Griffin won't be invited. Thank you, Dad. I think I should get out of the house for a bit. Griffin said that he will be late and doesn't want to go anywhere. Dad and I made plans to celebrate with my in-laws. We didn't tell Lola or Ken about what was going on. I was still on the fence about giving Griffin an ultimatum. My heart and mind was a mess. I quickly got ready and put on the dress that my dad gifted me. It was the only gift I had received for my birthday. As I was going out, Griffin came home. While I was coming down the stairs, he was rummaging through the wine cabinet. He took one look at me and said, "What the hell, Sarah? I told you to get rid of the dress. Why are you wearing it? Where are you even going?" "I am going for my birthday dinner. My dad arranged for a small celebration with your parents. Since you don't even bother wishing me today, you are not invited." "I don't want to go to your stupid dinner anyway. And you shouldn't go out either. I'm tired and I need a drink. You need to cook me dinner. You better start preparing my dinner, and I want this dress gone. Burn it or throw it away." "No, I won't get rid of the dress or cook you dinner. I'm going out with my dad. You have controlled my life enough. I won't let you do it this time." I said that and was ready to walk out of the door. I was sad that Griffin cared so little about my feelings. But what Griffin did next sent me into a fit of rage. He took a bottle of wine from the shelf beside him and completely spilled it on me. Yes, at the very last moment, Griffin decided to ruin my dress by spilling wine on me. No, it was not a mistake. He smirked at me while I was drenched in wine. He said, "There, now you won't be able to wear that dress again. Since you have to change anyway, why don't you just stay at home and make me dinner? Your plans are ruined anyway, and so is your dress." "You did this on purpose, didn't you? How dare you, Griffin? This is assault. You can't do this to me." "Oh, don't give me that bullshit, Sarah. It was just some wine. Now stop being a witch and fix me dinner. I deserve a treat for tolerating your horrible behavior." Griffin said that and went straight to our room to change. I didn't even move from the spot. I was fuming and was in absolute disbelief. My own husband dumped wine on me, and I knew for a fact that it was assault. I was shaking from rage, but also a little scared of Griffin. While he was in our room, I grabbed my keys and left the house. I drove to my dad's place with tears streaming down my face. Once I reached there, my dad came out to greet me. He took one look at me and did a double take. Yes, I was still in the wine-stained dress. Dad looked worried and took me inside. He said, "What the hell happened, Sarah? Why are you covered in wine? Why are you crying?" "Dad, Griffin dumped an entire bottle of wine on me. And no, he didn't do it accidentally. He did it on purpose." "What the hell are you saying, Sarah? Why would he do that? Tell me everything now." "Dad, he hated the fact that you bought me an expensive dress. Griffin also said—" I told my dad everything about my marriage, from the horrible behavior to the entitlement. Everything came pouring out of my mouth. Dad listened to everything very patiently. However, I could see him getting angrier and angrier with every word. When I was done, I was still crying from recounting everything and being soaked to the bone in wine. I'm petite, and a single bottle did a lot of damage. My dad hugged me and said, "What happened today is unacceptable, Sarah. You should have come to me sooner. I would have had a stern word with Griffin. It's too late for that now." I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't want any trouble. Lola and Ken are good people. I didn't want you spoiling your relationship with them. Sarah, your in-laws need to know how Griffin is treating you. We have kept them in the dark for a while now. I think it's the right time to show them what their son has become. They need to know, Sarah. It won't affect our relationship, I promise. Dad reassured me about everything, and the two of us had a deep discussion. I was still pretty angry at Griffin and no longer wanted to be in the marriage. However, I wasn't going to let him go easily. I was going to make him pay for what he had done to me. Me and Dad rushed to my in-laws' place before Griffin could come up with a sob story of his own. They were expecting us anyway, so Lola and Ken were not surprised at our arrival. What surprised them was my state. They quickly said, "Oh my God, Sarah, what happened to you? Why are you soaked in wine? You poor thing. Come in and change. I'll give you something to wear." "No, Lola, I don't want to change. I need to be this way because I will go to the police station next. I can't change out of these clothes." "Why do you have to go to the police, Sarah?" "You're scaring us. What's wrong? Where's Griffin? Did you tell him what happened?" "Guys, I'm afraid it's Griffin who did this to Sarah. I know you two are confused. That's why we're here to tell you everything. Let's go inside and talk." All four of us went in to have a discussion. I told Lola and Ken everything that I told my father. Thankfully, I also had the recordings of our home security system. Those videos showed Griffin intentionally pouring wine on me. Lola and Ken were shocked to see their son's true face. Lola started to cry while Ken looked furious. I said, "I'm sorry for doing this, Lola and Ken. I have no other option left. For years, I put up with Griffin's horrible behavior because I loved him. Today he showed me how vile and disgusting he can be. I'm afraid that I have to file for divorce and talk to the police." "Don't say sorry, Sarah. It's me and Lola who are ashamed right now. I don't have any words to say how mad and disappointed we are in Griffin. That cannot be our son. We didn't raise him like that. He has turned into a monster, Sarah. He acts so nice to you in front of us. I can't believe he is so cruel to you. You would be right to leave him and report this to the police. What he did is unforgivable." "I'm afraid I'll be firing him from the job, guys. There's no way I'm keeping him in my company, not after everything he's done to Sarah." "I don't want to drag you through dirt, Ken and Lola, but Griffin has left me with no choice. You have been so good to me and loved me so much. I hope we don't have any bad blood between us." "Don't worry about that, guys. James and Sarah, you will always be family to us. My son deserves to be punished for what he did. And we won't be there to support him. He will be on his own. Hell, I want to disown him, actually. I don't want to associate with a sick man like Griffin. Ken would agree with me, I guess." "Guys, I know I told you that my in-laws are good people, but I had no idea how much they would support me." Lola and Ken were absolutely furious with Griffin. They agreed not to support him and would actually disown him once our divorce was finalized. My dad was also ready to fire Griffin. But first, we all went to the police station to file a report. Then, we went out to celebrate what was left of my birthday. I was sad, but also determined to come out strong. The next day, Griffin called me frantically when I didn't come home. He also panicked over the fact that the cops wanted to talk to him. On the phone, he seemed mad and was yelling at me for defying him and so on. I recorded all the conversations and told him that he would get divorce papers soon. He blew his top and then called his parents for support. When they gave him a piece of their mind, Griffin knew he was in trouble. The next few days, he begged and pleaded for forgiveness. The divorce papers came through and Dad fired him from his job. Griffin's own parents refused to help him. So he was forced to borrow money for a lawyer. With a police report hanging on his head, Griffin was having a tough time getting a job. My dad's influence also added to his miseries. He was forced to take a lower-paying job to bring food to the table. Since I didn't work, our divorce settlement included alimony from him. We agreed on mutual divorce because he had no means to drag a court battle. Currently, he's living with 3 roommates while trying to pay me alimony and feed himself. His parents still don't talk to him but have a good relationship with me. Me, Dad, Ken, and Lola are still a family unit, and I am finally living a good life away from my horrible husband. Hello guys, my name is June. This is the story of my entitled sister Tina and how she got her just desserts. Before I begin, let me give you some background about my life. I'm Tina's oldest sister. Our parents died when I was only a tween. My sister was even younger and didn't remember them much. It was our paternal Uncle Josh who took us in and raised us as his own. He never married and considered us his own children. He was a rich lawyer who also owned a lot of money. Josh and my parents went through a difficult time when my grandparents died with a mountain of debt. They had a very luxurious lifestyle before my grandparents died. After their death, Josh and my parents had to sell everything to clear the debts. As a result, they were left with nothing. Thankfully, Josh was able to become a big lawyer and earn lots of money. He also made a bunch of good investments and grew his savings. My parents, unfortunately, got into a bad crowd and died from a drug overdose. Since then, Josh has been our only parent. Unfortunately, me and my sister grew up to be completely different people. She didn't remember much of our troubled life with our parents. She was used to seeing Josh's riches and having a good life. So she quickly became an entitled woman. The friends she associated with also encouraged her to spend lots of money while not caring for anyone else. That is why, even at 24, she didn't have a job. I tried to talk to her about it. I said, "Tina, you need to be more responsible with your life. Just because Josh gives you money, that doesn't mean you should not try to earn something for yourself." "Why the hell would I do that, June? Josh has plenty of money to give me. When he dies, you and me will inherit everything. You can let go of your share since you work a good job." "Tina, what is wrong with you? Josh is well and alive. You don't have to start thinking about an inheritance right now. You better not mention this in front of Josh." I was appalled to hear Tina's logic. What was worse was that Josh had recently been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and his chances of survival are slim. He wasn't very sick at that moment, but his health was steadily declining. So Josh decided to sit us down and tell us about what he had been thinking about. He said, "You know what, guys? I have some news for you. I was able to buy back the house I and your parents grew up in. I have purchased the property very recently. I really want to renovate it and make it better." "That is great news, Josh. We know how much you've been missing the house. Do you plan to shift there?" "Not really. I love this house now. I just wanted to give the house a second chance. It needs a little love. It had been neglected by the last owners. It broke my heart to see the mansion that way." "What a shame. I heard that the mansion was big and very beautiful. God, I want to see it. I'm so excited. Maybe I can live in it." "I'm going to take you there next week. I was hoping to show you the house so that you can help me renovate it. My health will get worse soon, so I need your help to restore the house. I will pay for everything, of course." Josh took us to see the house where he had grown up with my parents. At first, both me and Tina were excited to see the mansion. Josh had told us a lot of stories growing up, so we were eager to see where he and our parents lived. When we reached the place, we saw that the mansion came with a big property, but the mansion itself was pretty run down. It was old and hadn't been maintained very well. Tina looked shocked by the house. Then she started to get angry. She said, "Josh, this is the house you and my parents lived in? This is nothing like the mansion I had imagined." "I know, Tina. The last owners of the mansion didn't live here or even take care of the place. I convinced them to sell it to me since it was ready to fall apart." I don't want anything to do with this horrible place. It looks like a slum house. My God, the paint is chipping off the walls. Why have you kept this dump anyway? This house is my childhood home, Tina. This place holds a lot of sentimental value to me. I had to buy this from the people who owned the place after my father. You spent money on this wrecked place? What is wrong with you, Josh? I thought you were smart with money, but now I see that you are not. God, you need to have some taste and stop living like a beggar. Watch it, Tina. This mansion is much more than an old house. You can't just insult this place, and you can't insult Josh like that either. You are hurting his feelings. It's fine, June. I thought maybe this time Tina would understand the sentiment associated with this house. I was wrong to hope for it. I get it, Tina. Maybe this house is too shabby for you. Yes, it is, Josh. I'm saying this well in advance, Josh. I want nothing to do with this house. Don't bother leaving me this as an inheritance. I would rather take the money and leave the entire house to June. Tina, what is wrong with you? Josh is right here and you're already talking about getting an inheritance? Have some shame, for God's sakes. It's okay, June. Leave her be. All right then, Tina, since you don't want the house or even want to help me renovate it, I won't leave you this property in my will. Tina seemed satisfied with Josh's promise and looked very pleased with herself. Meanwhile, I was horrified to see what a person she had become. From that moment onwards, I knew that she was far gone, and I didn't want to have a relationship with her anymore. What was worse was what she said when we got home. Tina said, "So, since Josh has laid out his will in words today, I guess we won't argue about who gets what. I don't want you coming after me when that old house gives you very little money." Don't worry, Tina. I am least concerned about getting an inheritance from Josh. I would rather he outlive me. Your inheritance is safe with you. I won't ask you to share or change my mind. Good, because even if you are dying, I won't be giving you my money. I was the one who struck a better bargain. You will have to live with your choices. Honestly, I was disgusted with the way Tina was treating me and Josh. I felt even worse for Josh. He was suffering from the disease and was already in pain. It had hurt him when Tina had insulted him today. After dealing with Tina, I went to talk to him. I wanted to apologize about my sister and make it up to him in some way. I went to his study where he was drafting his will. I said, "Josh, you don't have to take Tina's words to heart. She's an idiot and doesn't know what she's saying. Her friends have been influencing her a lot. Don't worry, June. I'm not upset anymore. And Tina is not a child. She should know right from wrong. I'm afraid she's beyond repair now. Josh, what she did today was horrible. I hope you won't be rewarding her by giving her the money she wants." "Oh, don't you worry, June. I'll give her money, but she will be in for a surprise. I plan to leave as little money as possible. Do you have any ideas on how we can do that?" "I think I may just have the right plan for that, and I think you will like that a lot." Me and Josh discussed the plan I had in mind. I really did want to teach Tina a lesson and make her feel a little less entitled. Also, I wanted Josh and myself to get some revenge as well. Josh seemed very receptive to my idea since it lined up with his plans about the money and the mansion. So we went about putting our plan in motion. Tina had no idea what was about to hit her. This part will be a little hard for me to type. My Uncle Josh passed away just a year after his diagnosis. We tried our best to give him a painless death. He suffered, but we helped him deal with the pain a bit. I was with him till his last breath. Tina was out partying and going on vacation as usual. It boggles my mind how she even afforded those vacations. I didn't have time to ponder over that. Josh was my primary concern. His death left a gaping hole in my heart. It was just as bad as when my parents had died. I hope he is in a better place with them in heaven. When I called Tina to inform her about Josh's passing, I was hit with another shock. Tina seemed to be very nonchalant about the news. She ummed and hummed on the news and said, "So, as you know, I'm in the midst of a vacation. I can't really help you right now. I will definitely show up for the funeral and the reading of the will. Why don't you just text me the dates and all?" "Tina, I need you right here now. Josh has passed away. We are the only family he had left. You are the only family I have. I need your help. I can't arrange everything on my own." "Oh, please, June. You have always been the best organizer, and like I said, I can't help you. I think you'll manage just fine. Just send me the dates and that's it." After talking to her, I was furious again, and I realized that I didn't have a sister anymore either. She did show up to the funeral, but was only interested in the reading of the will. Josh had left her $2 million while he left me the house. Tina walked up to me with a satisfied smirk on her face. Here I was, hoping that she would come to offer condolences and express her grief, but I had forgotten how heartless my sister had become. She came to me and said, "So, Josh did listen to our demands, didn't he? He split the assets just like we wanted." "Oh, so you are here to talk about inheritance. I made the mistake of thinking you are here to express your sadness or something. You're just happy that he gave you what you wanted. Good to know, Tina." "I feel bad for you, sis. Look at me. I have got such a huge amount of money in my inheritance. Meanwhile, you are stuck with an old and wrecked mansion. Gosh, what would it cost now? Like $250,000? You should not have wasted your money on that old place." I looked at Tina for some time before bursting into laughter. Tina looked taken aback by my reaction. She expected me to sulk and get jealous of her inheritance. She saw that none of that happened. Instead, I was laughing my butt off at her words. Tina was getting pissed at me and said, "Why the hell are you laughing? What did I say wrong?" "Oh my God, Tina. Do you think I inherited an old and wrecked mansion? You must be out of your mind. When was the last time you visited the house?" "Well, I haven't ever been there except once. Why should I set foot in that place again? It is a wreck, so it doesn't interest me. You know I like new and shiny things. Who would want to visit a ruined house?" "I think you should come along with me and check it out once. Who knows, maybe you are in for a big surprise. You haven't been to the house in 4 years after all." "That ruined house won't impress me, June. You might be running after its nostalgic value, but that doesn't impress me. I like my stuff modern and flashy." "I will be going there to close the sale on the house tomorrow. You can simply tag along and take a last look at it once. I promise you, you will be surprised." I convinced Tina to accompany me to the mansion the next day. At first, Tina was a little reluctant to tag along, but her curiosity got the best of her. I would have taken her along anyway. I had been waiting for this day when Tina would finally see the house after so many years. Once that happens, my revenge against my greedy and entitled sister will be complete. Tina and I drove over to the mansion the very next day. Tina was kind of disinterested in seeing the house. She was convinced that there was no way a broken-down mansion would compare to her immense wealth of $2 million. Oh, wait. It was less than that, since the first thing she did was buy designer purses. Don't get me wrong, I like my luxury bags as well, but Tina had no sense of investing money to preserve her fortune. That is one of the reasons why she was so naive about the mansion. When I finally reached the mansion, Tina looked shell-shocked. She said, "My God, June, what is this place? That looks straight out of a magazine. God, I wish I could have a mansion like this." "You were offered half of this mansion, Tina. You straight away rejected it and acted like you were offended that Josh even dared to make this offer." "What nonsense, June! Josh had never offered me a beautiful mansion like this. You must have intentionally hidden this mansion from me so that I can't claim my share. I always knew you had ulterior motives for being near Josh." Your mind really does think in the worst way possible. I guess me and Josh failed to turn you into a decent human being. Anyway, you have been to this mansion before, Tina. I didn't hide anything from you. This is our grandfather's old house, the one you called wrecked and old. No, that is impossible. It was in ruins when I saw the mansion. It had a horribly overgrown lawn with paint chipping off all over. It didn't even come close to this place. I looked at Tina to take in her stupidity in full form. When Tina was slowly becoming a horrible woman, I was hurt to lose my sister. Now I feel nothing but pity for her. I knew people with a mindset like Tina would never be truly happy in life. I didn't want my sister to be unhappy, but I did want to teach her a lesson. After letting the facts sink in for Tina, I said, if you had really considered Josh's feelings and helped him remodel the mansion, you would not be here shaking your head in disbelief. You were stupid enough to run after flashy things that you missed how beautiful the old mansion could become. I had no freaking idea it would be this good. It should cost way more than what I had received in my inheritance. This is your fault, June. You should have convinced me better. There is no use blaming me, Tina. I did my best to change your mind, but you never listened to me. This is what happens when you become an entitled and greedy person with no regard for people's advice. Just then, a luxurious car pulled up at the mansion. A few people came out of the car and shook hands with me. We went into the mansion together, and Tina was even more impressed when she saw the interiors. The designers did a great job in handling everything perfectly. I could tell that Tina was starting to tear up. When she heard how much the house was worth, she started to have a meltdown. She couldn't believe that I got $6 million for the mansion. I excused my buyers and let my agent handle the rest of the formalities. Then I walked over to my sister and said, there is no use crying about this now, Tina. I'm sure you now regret not listening to me. Too bad that it is too late for you. Why can't you just share the proceeds of the sale with me? This is very unfair that you got such a nice place while I was left with scraps. You are the one who chose the scraps, Tina. Well, since we have already started this conversation, let me tell you what happened. Josh always had plans to renovate the house, but due to his health, he couldn't oversee the work himself. He wanted us to help him out, and in return, he was ready to give us the mansion in an even split. But you took one look at it and insulted his childhood house. Then you stupidly told him to give you money when he dies. But I had no idea he had so little money. I thought I would get more. That's why I gave you full ownership of the house. I didn't think this place was worth anything. That's where you messed up, Tina. In your greed to get the best pick, you chose the wrong option. Josh did have a lot of money, but he had always intended to use most of it to renovate this place. So it was an easy decision for him after you showed your ungrateful side. At that point, Tina realized how stupid she had been. All this while she was chasing an empty purse while the real stuff lay right before her eyes. Suddenly she started to beg me to share half of the money with her. I gently reminded her that she made it clear our inheritance won't be shared. She promised not to help me in my need, and I was doing the same for her. When she started to throw tantrums, I had to drive her back to her place. It was a tough job to get her out of the car, but I managed it. What followed next was a mountain of calls and texts from Tina. She alternated between demanding and begging me to split the proceeds of the sale. Remember how she was boasting about several vacations and parties she had planned? Well, she was doing it all on debt. Now that she has received her inheritance, the debtors were pestering her for the money. You won't believe it, guys, but this woman has a debt of $1 million with $50,000 on credit card dues. I was stunned to hear the figures. Turns out she had been having a luxurious lifestyle for the past year in the hope that she would get a big inheritance. She had no idea that the numbers would be so low for her. Now she didn't know what to do with the debts she collected. Tina was left with very little money after she had to pay off her debtors. She tried her best to live a life on the remaining money. Yes, she still didn't want to work. It lasted her 2 years before she was back begging at my door. I again reminded her of our deal and shut the door in her face. I have no idea where she is or what she's doing. She never cared about me and used me for her needs. There was no way I was keeping any contact with her. If you want to know about my life, let me tell you. I bought a beautiful but cozy bungalow with some of the money. The rest I invested in various things, as Josh had told me. I'm doing very well for myself and still work because I don't want to meet the same end as Tina under any circumstances. Also, I'm now engaged and all set to marry next fall. Wish me luck so that I can start my new life with lots of love and happiness.